Hello there. I am 34-year-old American man Ross Bolen here with my dear friend and colleague Jared Borislow today to do a show for you in the form of a podcast. Jared, how is your ass?
Tight and little, like always.
I ask because Jared crashed at the office with me last night. We grind hard. Phrasing. So sometimes for sleeps, we cuddle together at the office in the storage closet. And in all seriousness, Jared is a huge part of my mental health support system when shit hits the fan. But contradictory to that positivity, he and I ate a whole bunch of Taco Bell late night last night to celebrate my 34th birthday in style. This is not a sponsorship or an ad, and I am actively disgusted with myself. I spent all of my birthday at a 5-star spa, more on that later, and then ate Taco Bell with Jared to close it out. It was perfect. A perfect encapsulation of my perfectly unbalanced life. What a weirdo. Alcohol, I've noticed this since I quit drinking. It made me feel no shame about the food I ate late nighting or drunchies or whatever. It removed that entirely. Like on a different, like what I mean is during the act and in the ordering process, like there was never any hesitation. Jared, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with other substances that I may or may not choose to indulge in from time to time, that is not the case, man. Weed'll get me in my head about it as I'm ordering it. I'm like, there's more guilt. There's just more guilt. Yeah, because I'm just like, you know how weed is. It gets you real thoughtful, right?
So
You're nodding at me like I'm insane.
Well, most people when they're high, they're like, any food sounds amazing, and this Taco Bell sounds like it literally might change my entire life.
Right. What I'm saying, as somebody who's very conscious of what they put into their body now, compared to when I was younger, like alcohol it always took away that inhibition entirely. Whereas like with weed, I'm like, it's not entirely gone. I'm still very, very excited for the food, but a part of me knows like that I'm disgusting. Where when I'm drunk, no part of me thinks anything about me is bad at all. I think I'm the coolest, greatest person in the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, like drunk food, I look at it as like, oh, I need this and I'll be less drunk. It's like you can kind of say it's like medicinal, right?
You know what? Drunchies are highly, highly underrated, or munchies are highly, highly overrated. Because food is not that much better stoned than drunk. Sex is, but food is not. Food is very, very, very good when you're drunk. I mean, fucking amazing. I've had more meals drunk that changed my life than high.
There's nothing that hits better than like you're out for day drinking all day and you get that dinner.
Oh my God, dude. It's just so, there's nothing like that.
Your body's shaking because all it's had is liquid for the last 8 hours.
It's finally replenished. Like that 30-minute period after you finally have that meal where you feel yourself like survive and advance. It's amazing.
I almost died. Okay, well, that's a little bit dramatic. I was in early stages hypothermia coming back from the Kentucky Derby one year. It rained the entire Kentucky Derby. I was drenched in a full suit and jacket, drenched.
Okay.
I was on this bus, and they were pumping the AC. And I was like passed out drunk with the AC on me while I was wet, and I woke up shivering like very bad. We got Raising Cane's on the way home. I got a Caniac combo, and it cured my hypothermia. This is not medical advice.
We've really become a fast food podcast when you're giving out Raising Cane's as a cure to hypothermia.
But I will say this, Ross. I think I agree with you. Drunchies underrated compared to munchies. We need to rally around this cause. Get Frito-Lays to rename munchies Drunchies.
It's also just that. Wait, Frito-Lays makes something called munchies?
Yeah, you know munchies. It's like Doritos. It's like the Frito twists.
No, dude, pretzels. I don't think most people know this.
You never had munchies?
No, I didn't know they were even allowed to like trademark and copyright that. I thought that was just like public domain.
It's like one of the most popular chip assortments.
Quite impossible. I've never heard of it.
Bro, I guarantee you.
They're doing a terrible job of marketing this.
It's Cheetos.
And I'm a big snack, like trail mix type of dude.
Cheetos, Frito Twists, pretzel circles, and mini Doritos.
Man, that's crack. right there.
It's so good. And it should be called Drunchies.
Because with the munchies, I can actively feel like myself judging. Like, dude, I know you're craving a snack, but fucking Taco Bell? Like, that's how my brain, it's like, what are you, 13 years old?
You judged me so hard when I said it last night, bro.
And no, I still have not put a seat back on my toilet. And no, I don't think the other toilet can handle both Jared and I sitting on it today. Because we crushed Taco Bell last night.
Can we be honest? Like, I crushed Taco Bell.
No, I crushed Taco Bell too, Jared. By all accounts, and we will let the people be the judges of that, not you.
Okay.
We live in the court of public opinion, not Jared court.
So later
Thank
on,
fucking God.
we'll go through what we actually ate and consumed?
Later on, in several seconds, we're going to go through that. In several seconds. I hadn't had Taco Bell. Okay, I'd had it one other time since college, okay? I'm not joking. One other time, because there was a Taco Bell on our campus, and I went to it often. It was one of those things that happened too much. And when I became out of college, there was nothing else that changed except that I was out of college. I wasn't like an adult. But I just couldn't do Taco Bell anymore. And then last night happened. Like, I just genuinely it's hard for me to take myself seriously before, during, or after even having considered eating Taco Bell. It's a meme restaurant almost. It's been a joke my whole life. Do you remember the tiny talking chihuahua?
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. That was fucking years of my childhood, dude. Was running around and saying that to other kids. It's the only joke anybody knew. That and what's that?
Yeah.
For 6 years. Those were the only two jokes we had. And then last night happened. And here's what I had. For Jared, who doesn't think I crushed Taco Bell, that only he crushed Taco Bell. Not that I would ever argue that he didn't, because he certainly did. More on that in several seconds. I got chicken quesadillas. This is a very safe go-to at Taco Bell. We are a fast food podcast. Very safe go-to. It's hard to fuck up a chicken quesadilla, and frankly, there's something about, what is this sauce they put on there?
Lava sauce.
Lava sauce, that's what it's called, Jared. It's delicious, and it makes the whole quesadilla experience phenomenal. Again, hard to fuck up, but the lava sauce puts it above. It's one of the best items on their menu, and I would say the safest. My favorite item, historically on the Taco Bell menu, is the cheesy gordita crunch, so I got one of those. And then Jared and I both got, well, the first item, chicken quesadillas as well, but also my last item, which was the special, which was a piece of fried chicken formed into the shape of a taco shell filled with taco stuff. What was that called?
The Naked Chicken Chalupa.
The Naked Chicken Chalupa. And I stopped probably halfway through my cheesy gordita crunch, and I unwrapped that thing. And I took one look at it, and I had to put the cheesy gordita crunch to the side. I wasn't sure there was enough, stomach left for both of them. And I chose to take down the special. It was odd, but it was amazing. It was truly amazing. It was the only part of this that I would say, like, I had the moment where I was like, fuck, this is good.
It has this little green sauce on it that we were actually live on Twitch at the time, and I asked chat what it was.
I said Shrek's cum.
Yeah, somebody said it was Shrek's cum. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was an avocado ranch, but
I also think it was an avocado ranch, but I can't get it again because of that comment. Thank you, Twitch. But it was really, really good. It's just also the thing that I think, like, when I woke up at 7:30, just because my body clock, I went back to sleep for a little bit after that. But I could feel it in the pit of my stomach, like waiting. Just it was like, hey, you remember me from last night? You son of a bitch, I'm here. I'm a time bomb, and you know it. And I was just like, yeah, fuck.
Did you still get a good sleep?
I slept like a baby, dude. I slept amazing. But, keep in mind, I had a hell of a relaxing day yesterday. More on that in several minutes. Jared, so you had the chicken quesadilla.
Well,
with me, right? You had the special.
I ordered
the chicken quesadilla. It's the only thing you didn't eat of your meal, I believe.
Yes. I have
it's
it in
the fridge right now.
I will be eating it after this podcast. Here's what I did consume, okay? I got the Naked Chicken Chalupa, ate the whole thing. I didn't cower it out halfway through. Pretty good.
Well, I ate that whole thing. I didn't eat the whole cheesy gordita crunch like a coward.
I ate the $2 value menu items. 3 value menu items.
Yeah.
I forgot about
one of which was simply
One was the
chips
Chipotle.
and, it was the most bootleg possible version of chips and queso that's ever been created. What is it titled though?
It's like chips and nacho cheese.
Yeah, and it's not really chips. It's like the piece, you can tell, it's like the pieces of taco that cracked off, that they were like, oh, fuck it, and they throw it in a bag. And then the cheese, and as you put it, hey, this is kind of, I believe the word you used was lumpy.
Okay, well, first off, that's slander on Taco Bell's chips. They are normal tortilla chips.
They're very much not.
They're the kind you get at like, they're not like the kind you get at like a movie theater or a ballpark.
They're definitely not.
They're the kind you get at like a really shitty Mexican restaurant. Really shitty. But hey,
yeah, called Taco Bell.
They're crispy. It was fine. Now, the nacho cheese, I've gotten the chips and nacho cheese probably more than 20 times in my life. I think it's good. It's a fun little like crunch.
It's
and
$1.99 and it's embarrassing.
I believe it's $1.59. It's cheaper than that. So now, here's the issue. I've had 2 times in my life where the nacho cheese that I got was not right. This was one of them. The first time, it was very clear to me that after cleaning out whatever container the nacho cheese is in, they didn't wash the soap out, and so I was eating soapy nacho cheese. I got 2 bites in, and I was like, wow, this is really messed up. I'm pretty sure I'm eating soap, and so I threw it away. This time, I ate the whole thing. Now, what happened this time was...
upsetting.
I said to Ross, for some reason, this nacho cheese is lumpy, but like it's probably fine. I'm just going to finish it. It was,
well, as
there
you
were
put
lumps.
it, you were pot committed. And I totally understand that. There's something about eating something disgusting where it's like very few things can get me to quit on a piece of food. I either have to be so full that I'm worried about not being able to finish something else that's better, like last night, or usually it's biting into a piece of chicken and feeling something funny that isn't supposed to be there. Yeah. Like, you know, when they get like a piece of the bone in there or like some ligament or some shit and it's in a chicken nugget and you're just like, I can't. So I spit that out.
Yeah, it's off-putting.
I always spit that out.
This is just lumpy, congealed cheese. I was like, it's probably fine.
When you're in there and, you know, you feel like you got to judge, like, what can the stomach handle? Mm-hmm. And the thing with the chicken, I'm like, I don't know if it can handle that so much. And I don't really want to fire that out, like, partially digested. Yeah. A lumpy piece of cheese, I know my tum-tum can take that down.
So
We're going to win that war.
Full meal was chips and nacho cheese, Chipotle chicken, like, roll-up, the beef burrito, the naked chicken chalupa, and I feel like, and the frozen Baja Blast.
Now that's the real, like, icing on the cake, if you will. It almost literally is icing, by the way, because it looked like, I compared it to like, it was blue instead of green, but it looked like what the Ninja Turtles drank to become the Ninja Turtles, and you're just like taking it. It looks like something you'd get from a gas station.
Yeah,
which in hindsight, a lot of the Taco Bell stuff does kind of look like they're pretty. I mean, it's just low-level presentation. Like, the quesadillas come in like that.
Yeah, the little clear windows so you can see your quesadilla, and then you rip it off, and you have a little plate for your quesadilla.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not genius. I'm just saying it's got gas station vibes. Like, listen, the gas station has come a long way. That's not necessarily a knock anymore the way it used to be. Like, things like Buc-ee's exist, you know? Shouts to the Buc-ee's Bandit. And I'm just saying, this now that I'm looking at it, this meal... If you told me you grabbed, if it was all in generic wrapping and you told me you got it from a gas station, like, I would believe you.
I mean, again, I love Taco Bell. I've eaten it my whole life.
I don't not like it. It's just that it's something about it that makes me feel like trash.
It has a very special place in my heart. I think it's
I
think it's high quality fast food, personally. I think it's like,
there are a lot of people who agree with you. A lot of people. I've been having this argument for a long time.
Upper middle tier quality. The people always say, "Oh, it's horse meat." It's not horse meat. It's just like grain and meat mixed together. It's not horse meat. Now,
people always say it's horse meat.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh yeah, they take the horse cocks and they ground them up, and that's what you're eating in your taco." I'm like, honestly, if that's the case, like, feed it to me, daddy. But
I know what you mean. Crave horse cock in my food.
But no, Taco Bell's great. I'm kind of upset that I didn't finish my entire order. I had the quesadilla.
I mean, that was a lot, though.
That was a lot.
Yeah. It was a burrito in particular is like, that's a meal in and of itself.
It was tough.
I have a buddy who used to be addicted to those things. Just the burrito, the value menu Taco Bell bean and cheese burrito. It was a problem. He's fine now, but touch and go there for a minute. You know when you're young and genetically predisposed to having chicken legs, so you just eat whatever you want? Do you?
No.
Not a care in the world. It was amazing, but I'm like mid-30s now, man. Like, I have to get a prostate exam next year, I think. So I have a limited, finite number of fast food meals left that my body can physically handle and process before throwing in, like, the towel.
Hey, what's your prostate guy charging? I'll do a better job and I'll charge half.
This isn't legal, sir. Although that episode of Curb isn't hilarious. You are the son of a doctor, not a doctor. Let me ask you something, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
We have American food, burgers, hot dogs. We suck cock at cuisine, apparently. And then, like, fast food inspired by American food, right? McDonald's,
A&W.
Wendy's, A&W, and the like, right?
You know what A&W stands for?
No.
Hamburgers and Whoop beer.
Wow. Then there's fast food inspired by Mexican food, a la Taco Bell, Taco Cabana, and the like, et cetera, et cetera. We also have the Italian version of fast food, do we not?
I mean, there's like Fazoli's, are you saying?
Right? That's a drive-through.
I guess. I've never had it.
We had one in Austin, in
San Marcos.
in San Marcos.
Is it good?
I mean, it's on par with what you would expect for the fast food version of Italian food. It's
What's
not
better?
bad.
Fazoli's or Olive Garden?
Olive Garden. But
Okay.
the breadsticks,
Does Fazoli's have breadsticks?
quite sure they do, in fact. Is it called Fazoli's?
Isn't it?
Rizzoli's?
I think it's Fazoli's.
I don't know. But there is an Italian version of fast food as well. And I don't think about it as much. It's not really a consideration. Like, when I want Italian food, I want nice Italian food. I don't want the fast food version of Italian food.
If they don't serve wine at the place that you're getting Italian food from, you probably don't want it.
You absolutely do not. If you were given the option between the two, hey, this Italian place serves wine, this Italian place doesn't serve wine, no one is picking the one that doesn't. Even the guys like me who don't, and the girls like me who don't drink. We aren't going to the Italian restaurant that doesn't serve wine because something is wrong over there. It's run by a sociopath. Back to you, Jared.
So the last thing I'll say about Taco Bell is
Wow.
Taco Bell has two specific items that they have that are, for some reason, like the best you can get anywhere. Number one is their sour cream. Taco Bell's sour cream is incredible. I don't know what's
Chipotle's
in it.
better.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Sour cream.
No.
Taco Bell.
Chipotle.
No. But another one, Taco Bell's tomatoes. I was talking to Ross about this. They're
These are
really
the best,
good.
undebatable.
I don't know what they do with their tomatoes at Taco Bell, but they're so good. They're like crispy.
They
not
seem
crispy,
amazingly fresh.
Yeah, like-
which absolutely isn't the case, right? There's no fucking way those are fresh. So what is it? I don't want to know because it's probably some chemical that isn't supposed to be inside of our human bodies, but it's amazing and we should have it on all of our fucking fruits and vegetables.
How do they like burst with flavor? Like it's not crispy. It's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're firm. It's like
Here's
firm.
what doesn't make sense though. It's like they were going through the items. They were like, all right, there's different tiers for all these different vegetables and fruits and shit that we need. Let's get the shittiest fucking everything and give us all the horse cock you've got. And then the nicest possible goddamn tomatoes for some reason. I don't understand. It's weird. But the sour cream gets stomped on by Chipotle, dude.
Chipotle also don't they have the watery sour cream and then the firm sour cream? They have both.
No, what you have there is a discrepancy based on a location differentiation, I think.
I think that Chipotle has one watery version and one firm version, depending on what menu item you order. For real. Like, I think if you get sour cream on a taco, they'll put the firmer one. And if you get it in a burrito, they'll get the wetter one. So
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think this?
I think I've looked.
Because you hope that's the case or
I've
something?
looked at enough Chipotles while I was ordering them and like seen that
I'm sorry,
it's two
you're
different
arguing that there are two sour cream containers on a Chipotle assembly line, one watery and one thicker. You're making that argument right now on the air.
I think that's the case, and I'll stand by it.
I'm just mind blown right now.
I really hope I find out I'm right because I've thought this for years, and I've never thought to question myself.
I guess we've done Asian fast food exists.
Panda Express, I love Panda Express.
That's like your lifeblood.
My brother ate Panda Express at least once a day for like 3 years.
The Borislow family has thrived for generations on Panda Express.
I really like it. I think it's phenomenal.
What other countries have had their cuisine culture crushed by corporatization? Hashtag alliteration. Hashtag thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I don't know. I think we covered most of them, right? Oh, I mean,
The Canadians, have we ripped
Tim
off their
Hortons?
shit yet and destroyed it?
Tim Hortons. We don't have many of those here.
No, not in
Oh,
Texas.
Jollibee is the Filipino fast food place, but I think that's really popular in the Philippines, so it's like kind of works. Not really stealing it from them.
There's an old saying in Tennessee. No one's in Texas, it's probably in Tennessee. What a great quote. Anyway, I'd love to sit here and TED Talk more with you, J-Bone, but the simple fact of the matter is we don't know how much time we have left.
What was the quote?
That was the quote. The internet could go out worldwide at any second. Did you know that? It actually happened today.
Really?
Yeah. Literally. It's our first segment. When the internet breaks. An international pandemic is one of those things we hoped would never happen, right? And just kind of had to ignore it until it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you always knew it was kind of a possibility. There's lots of movies about it and shit, Contagion and whatnot. But until it happened, it's like one of those things you never think would happen, and you really hope it doesn't, but you know it's a possibility. The internet going out is kind of one of those. I remember, ever since it became a huge, huge part of life, within a few years of really finding its position in society, OG internet was pretty much worthless if you look at, the original version of it. And then when we all got dial-up and it was widely accessible, that changed fucking everything. And there was a point where I remember just being it was around Y2K, the millennium, when everybody was concerned that the internet was going to crash due to the date changing and to 00 and breaking everything, and all the banks would go under, and everybody was going to nuke each other and the nukes would go off, and everybody was freaking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was around the time I realized, oh shit, if the internet ever breaks, that would be wild. And it seems like a thing that could break as a guy who's worked on the internet for 10 years. It's very breakable. Most people don't really know how it works. And it's kind of one of those things almost like Bitcoin, where it's we all hope things pan out. But we're just sailing along with different theories. And
yeah,
it went out today.
So what kind of internet going down was this? Was this a cloud services going down thing? Because that seems like the most common, right?
It was cloud service based, which it turns out, and we'll get to this, but there's several companies really that have a massive impact on the whole of the internet. And that if all of them were to simultaneously experience outages, there would be a lot of chaos. It's just one of those things we all know would cause mass hysteria and pandemonium, and we know it's probably happening at some point, but we're too scared to talk about it or plan for it. In Texas, Snowvid, or the snowpocalypse, or the large frozen blizzard we endured the past winter, it served as a solid reminder that many institutions delicately holding together the fabric of society are run by morons.
Mm-hmm.
So, to get into today's story from the Associated Press in London, dozens of websites briefly went offline around the globe Tuesday, including CNN, the New York Times, and Britain's government homepage. Seems problematic. After an outage at the cloud service Fastly, illustrating how vital a small number of behind-the-scenes companies have become to running the internet. The sites that could not be reached also included some Amazon pages, the Financial Times, Reddit, Twitch, and The Guardian. San Francisco-based Fastly acknowledged a problem just before 6 a.m. Eastern. About an hour later, the company said the issue has been identified and a fix has been applied. Most of the sites soon appear to be back online. Everything got fixed. But it's one of those things if you really stopped and made a list of everything that you do daily that requires internet access, it starts to get freaky pretty fast. All of us at this point, we text message through exclusively Wi-Fi almost. Unless you're texting in the car or some shit.
Or, cellular data.
Or, yeah, even that, I guess, would be completely screwed. That's internet-based technology.
Yep.
So anything on your phone.
Anything.
With your phone. Any app.
Aside from, Flappy Bird and whatever the offline games are that you download when you're on a plane.
With an offline mode for the airplane. Exactly. Angry Birds.
That's another one, yeah. And then
that is another one. Banking would be fucked, obviously. That's
yes.
the home security systems. GPS, mapping of any kind, I am done, can't go anywhere, not that I really do, but absolutely couldn't go anywhere ever again without the ability to pull it up on a map. It's one of the more astonishing things, how did people live before cell phones? No, fuck that. How did people live before your phone could tell you how to get somewhere, dude? I don't know street names. Like, I am terrible at directions. I have no natural directional ability. It's problematic.
Can you name any of the 3 streets that you have to take to get here from the main road to your house?
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
Fair
cool.
Oaks, Manchac.
You don't need to dox
Those
yourself.
are
I
the
was just
only
making sure. I was just seeing what you could do.
Oh, yeah. I guess I shouldn't probably give out the directions to my home or our office on the internet.
Luckily, all those
Speaking
are
of the
actually
internet.
not very close to the office. They're kind of far away. But
Sure enough. But like the calendar with which I run my day-to-day, literally my entire job, actually, just our whole job, podcasting, blogging, tweeting, Instagramming, all social media, it's all gone. But the way most of us keep up with each other, gone. Like, we're back to the dark ages almost fucking immediately. That's the thing.
We'd have to buy you a soapbox so you could podcast in the town square.
I've often said I would be the guy on the street corner just yelling. That's the post-internet world for me.
I'd be selling street meat.
Probably a more financially lucrative market based on my personal experience with about $100 worth of street meat.
About $100.
About $100.
I think. Well, I actually have an idea though. So if, like you said, a internet outage would very heavily impact Bolen Media. I thought about
what
this.
What would we do?
Well, so I have a contingency plan. It's my job here to like think of contingency plans and like figure out what we would do.
Yeah.
I think we could make a killing selling porridge to the vast amount of chimney sweeps that would pop up. Because everybody knows when there's a recession, chimney sweeps are in high demand.
Sure.
And also everybody knows chimney sweeps love porridge. Please, sir, may I have some more? They can't get enough of it. Literally.
Was that kid a chimney sweep?
I think he was.
Oscar?
I thought it was Tiny Tim.
Oscar the Grouch. It's definitely not Tiny Tim.
That's Tiny Tim.
That's from A Christmas
Yeah.
Carol.
Yeah. Tiny Tim was a one-legged chimney sweep. Charles Dickens wrote him up.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Porridge. Before I go clean this chimney.
Before I go clean the chimney sweep. We've mixed A Christmas Carol with Mary Poppins with that
Oliver
movie
Twist.
about that poor kid.
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist. He was in the orphanage and he wanted some more. More? More?
Is that what he said back to him?
How can you have some more when you haven't? What the fuck? I don't know. I also think maybe that's in a Pink Floyd song.
You know what porridge is?
Oatmeal mixed with the watered down version of sour cream from Chipotle.
I always thought it was pigeon-based. Not entirely sure.
That's kind of makes sense in my head, like it's crushed up pigeon. But they don't cook it. They put a pigeon in a bowl, and they hit it with a hammer, and then you gotta mash the fucking pigeon up. Feathers are flying everywhere, and still you gotta get all the feathers out, defeather it, of course, as you're smashing his feathers. And then that's where porridge comes from. It's just the inside of a pigeon smushed up with a hammer.
Some people use a pestle and mortar. You know,
That's what I was picturing in my head. Pestle and mortar.
Mordor.
Mordor.
Pestle and Mordor. It'd be kind of a sick drawing.
Sam.
Can somebody draw a pestle and Mordor?
Share the load. I'm glad you have a contingency plan, though, Jared. It makes me feel better about the post-internet world that we're probably soon going to be living in. As we, at this point, everything, I'm like, that won't happen, and then that happens. And I'm like, okay, that happened, that's crazy. But like, this won't happen, and then that happens. And I'm like, okay, but this won't, and it just keeps happening. So, just saying. Time for you to get your contingency plan together, people.
Can we expense a very large net so I can catch pigeons? And also a bunch of Wonder Bread.
Yes, to both. Because we have the sponsor, Gravity Blankets. This episode of RBP is also brought to you by Gravity Blanket. We only bring you the best sponsors on this show with products we actually use. And if you don't love these freaking weighted blankets and sleep masks from Gravity, I will personally take Jared out back and spank his tight little ass. Gravity Blanket is the top-rated weighted blanket that helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. The only blanket proven to improve sleep quality, with 78% of people reporting a better night's sleep when using Gravity. I have slept phenomenally underneath the Gravity. For people who have anxiety, especially people who experience anxiety at night or trouble falling asleep because you're anxious or your mind won't stop racing or you toss and turn a lot, oh my God, it's amazing. It just kind of like fucking hugs you in place the whole night while you sleep. I recently got introduced to the world of sleep masks. My girlfriend uses one, and it was just like this weird thing for me. I'm like, I thought this was only a thing that like Lucille Bluth did in Arrested Development and weird rich people. But no, it's amazing. And if you don't have like amazing blackout curtains and you're not sleeping with a sleep mask, you'd probably be sleeping better. And if you're sleeping with a sleep mask that's not a weighted sleep mask from Gravity, you could definitely be sleeping better. These things are fucking amazing. Gravity has an impeccable lineup of sleep products, including weighted eye masks, weighted robes, designed to give you a perfect night's rest. They're phenomenal. Everything they make is awesome. They're available in a special technical cooling fabric if you're worried about, like, oh, it's summertime, it's going to be hotter, I don't know, weighted blanket, blah, blah, blah. 100% cotton for summer. Approximately 60% of users reported Gravity helped reduce overall levels of stress. All of us are stressed. None of us are sleeping well enough. Gravity is here to help, Jared.
If you're somebody who likes to listen to the show because of the mental health talk, this is a big mental health helping item. You can use it. Helps 60% of people feel less stress.
Indeed, Jared. Indeed, it does. Go to gravityblankets.com. Check out the weighted blankets, weighted sleep masks, weighted robes. Use promo code ROSS to get 15% off your purchase. 15% off. gravityblankets.com when you use the promo code ROSS. If you have no good ideas for Father's Day, you are done shopping. Go right now to gravityblankets.com. Use the code ROSS today. That's gravityblankets.com. Code ROSS. 15% off the blanket that everyone's talking about. Big news out of Britain. Across the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Where I've never been for fish and chips. It turns out the English are getting Wendy's, which has come up recently. And again, we are a fast food podcast now. We discuss almost exclusively international politics and fast food. And I didn't realize this, but like Britain, unlike some other countries across the pond, has not fully embraced American fast food culture, which is apparently happening now and is hilarious to me. Because I don't know how anybody has looked across the pond at us over the last 20 years and gone, we need whatever they're eating.
Yep. So
bring that shit here now. If anything, I would think other countries would be banning whatever the fuck we're eating. But no, the bacon burger is coming.
Bourbon bacon burger going, hopefully.
And Paul Revere is just riding through the streets of fucking London town. Wendy's is coming. That's the opposite of what he did. He ratted on the English, the redcoats.
Yeah.
Can we call them that?
Yeah, you can call them redcoats.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I have one British, well, he's dual citizenship now, but one buddy who was British, and I always got the feeling he didn't like it, when I yelled it in his face during basketball games and shit. Fucking redcoat! After I stuffed him. Get out of here, bitch. Go back to Britain. None of that ever happened.
I don't think that was like 300 years ago. I don't think they care very much.
I don't know, man. That South Park episode was fucking hilarious where the Queen was sending the ships. They still seem to care there.
So what's happening in England is pretty crazy. So COVID is causing 1 in 5 fast casual, like mom and pop or like local English restaurants to shut down.
Which apparently was much more of a thing there than here because we'd already crushed all those with fast food chains.
Well, I think it's because
30 years ago.
England is more of a walking culture than we are. So like
I don't know.
Fast foods
Maybe big London town,
Yeah.
But when I picture like the countryside of London or England or whatever, Britain, there's too many fucking names for everything. Why are we America, the United States of America, USA,
America?
The fuck?
So
Britain, England, UK,
I don't know.
Euro, what's happening? What's happening? Speak, Jared.
So what's happening is there's a lot of available real estate, a lot of restaurant setup, available real estate because all these restaurants are closing down. 20% of these restaurants are closing. It's fast casual ones. So they're going, okay, well, apparently fast food in England failed. Like Wendy's used to be in England and they shut down because sales weren't doing very well. But now with COVID, like the quick bites, they're trying to pick up food and go home. Like they're like, ooh, might have an opportunity here. So there's all these restaurants, these fast food places are going back in.
Yep. So Wendy's left in 2001, complaining of high operating costs. Apparently, they're back, opening in East London and the University City of Oxford this year. Plans to open hundreds of restaurants in the next several years, according to a company spokesperson, and this is through the Wall Street Journal. Here's a quote. The hamburger chain, known for its square patties, joins a string of other U.S. fast food operators, including fried chicken chain Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. Shouts to Popeyes and the British people who are soon to enjoy the magic of ordering food and then not getting that food, because that's what Popeyes does, which said it plans to open its first restaurant in London this year and eventually some 350 restaurants around the country. Lemon Pepper Holdings Limited, again, Lemon Pepper Holdings Limited, the London-based franchisee of Dallas chicken chain Wingstop Incorporated, of which Rick Ross, owns several franchises. I'm adding that part in. Also did a single with Drake called Lemon Pepper something. Said it plans to double its number of British outlets by 20 or 220 by the end of this year. So the invasion is upon the British, whether they know it or not. American food is coming for those abs.
Yeah, I have two thoughts on this. My first one is, how will polite British people handle not getting anything they ordered at Popeyes? Like, oh, pip pip, cheerio, you've seemed to have given me
the
fries.
same fucking way I do. I celebrate and eat whatever the shit it is they gave me. Exactly. That's like, because I've got like British manners. I'm not going to go bitch out the Popeyes guy. You know? Different. The British are just cold and they don't like emotion, so they don't interact with other humans. But I'm just awkward and don't want to deal with it, so I just go home and eat it.
My second thought is this. I think this is a sleeper cell operation by the U.S. to fatten up the UK. We could call it a sleep apnea cell operation because the goal appears to be to make everyone obese and give them the apnea.
Yep. Well, we did it to ourselves first, experimented, saw how it would go. Turns out, cash cow makes cash cows into other things too for pharma and all these other things. The British want a piece of that ass. But my real concern is like, what's going to happen when James Bond takes off his shirt and he looks more like, you know, fucking the dude from Married with Children. Ted Bundy?
Al Bundy. Ted Bundy is a serial killer.
Al Bundy.
Yeah.
That always confused me. Why choose that name? It's just going to make me think Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Bundy? They really went with Bundy for the American family that represented like, it was like The Simpsons, but live action, basically. Was it not? Is that not the vibe you got?
Well, speaking of The Simpsons, the wife, Katie Seagal, was in a different Matt Groening cartoon, Futurama.
Were you singing the theme song to the show we are now talking about before we recorded?
Which one?
Weren't you singing Love and Marriage, Love and Marriage? But you were doing a remix of it?
No, what? Why would I have been doing that? I did used to watch Married with Children, though. That was a good show.
I swear to God you were singing it before this, dude. And we just ended up talking about it. It's not in our notes if you're like, well, you guys do the show, you know what you're going to talk about. Like, yes, sometimes we do. Not all the time. We talk about random shit the whole show. Shit just comes up.
Yeah, except I wasn't I wasn't singing that song.
Look, man, whether you like it or not, in an alternate reality, the one I live in, you were fucking singing that song.
I'd be more likely to sing the Futurama theme song, which has no words but has a great beat. Do, 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 do. That's a great song.
That was pretty impressive. I was worried. It's tough to like, I often will be like, man, I love this song. I bet I can crush the melody live and on Twitch usually, and then it doesn't go the way I want it to.
Futurama is the best cartoon of all time, and if you've never watched it, you need to illegally stream it because I think they took it off all the streaming services. It is so good.
Can you believe, though, that the British just haven't had Wendy's? Like, haven't had the regular... I thought they had all the staples. I thought the staples, Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, you know, I thought we had been invaded everywhere. I thought one of the only ones that was still only here was Chick-fil-A, and that's because they don't fuck with other nationalities.
Ross, I have a question for you. Are you a fan of Wendy's?
Yeah.
Because you're going to love it, Wendy's nuts are dragging all across your face.
Mother of... God damn it, man. Sons of bitches.
You fell right into it.
That's unfortunate. Walked right into that one.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Do you ever call the British people Britons? Into this column on the Wall Street Journal. Mr. Haken believes Britons particularly relish American fast food brands because of their high profile and cachet.
No, I
don't even know what that fucking sentence means.
The British. I thought it was the British.
Well, yeah, but I've only heard that phrase used in Monty Python. I didn't know it was ever used in reality. Britons.
Yeah.
The Britons.
I kind of like that.
I like it too, but they don't. I feel like it doesn't get used. Maybe they're bringing it back, Jared. Maybe they're bringing it back. What if I told you, Jared, we have a sponsor that makes the most comfortable shorts in the world, with which you can go running. They dry faster than a bathing suit. I went swimming and running. Well, swimming and hiking, actually, in mine yesterday. My Birddogs. Birddogs is the sponsor. I'm burying the lead here. You can do anything in them. Go for a walk in the neighborhood. Be sold street meat. When you're wearing Birddogs, you can do anything, Jared. They're incredibly comfortable shorts with built-in underwear. Even their pants have underwear built in. And Jared and I are swimming in pants all summer long.
Here's how versatile these things
I
are.
swam in the regular bird dog shorts, just for the record.
Here's how versatile these things are. You could go swimming in an alligator-infested lake, right? Because they're, they're like a bathing suit kind of. Then you could run out of the lake away from an alligator, obviously zigzagging, doing like 30-foot zigs, 30-foot
And as you and I
zags.
talked, 30 foot to the zig and zag. You can't just be zigzag, zigzag, zig. That thing is able to just go straight. Then you stupid idiot that probably isn't wearing bird dogs because you don't even know how to escape from a fucking reptile.
And then you could go run to a Wendy's, and by the time you get there, they will be dried out, and you can order a bourbon bacon burger. You don't even have to go all the way to Britain, because they're going to dry way before you get to Britain. Okay?
Do not swim to Britain, but you could swim to Britain in your bird dogs. You could. And what's more, Jared, do you remember when you were a little kid and every time you got a fast food meal, there would be a toy with it? What if when you ordered clothes as an adult that were phenomenally comfortable with built-in underwear, they came with a toy too? That's what bird dogs can do for you. When you use the code RBP, when you check out, you always get something awesome. They used to be nunchucks. They gave you amazing rubber ventilated lawn cleats with which to mow your lawn, do anything. They were kind of like Crocs. Now, Jared, when you go to birddogs.com and use the code RBP at checkout, you're going to get a whistling football, a fucking whistling football, just like the Nerf you grew up with and loved. It's going to whistle all the way home, Jared.
I have a friend. His name is Booty Stank Joe.
Yep.
And he used code...
Not a joke.
This is serious.
Not a joke.
He listens to the podcast, and he used code RBP at birddogs.com to buy 2 pairs of bird dogs and get the whistling football. And he said, I'm never taking these off. And his name is Booty Stank Joe.
I'm not kidding. I wear them pretty much all of the time at this point, especially in the summer, which we are in the thick of. It is hot as shit in Austin. I wear pants a lot of the time when we record because my chair angles me up in such a way that my junk can be exposed, which is inappropriate. But if I'm not recording, I have them on. Like, for whatever I'm doing, they are the option that is most comfortable and looks the best, whether it be their pants with the built-in underwear or not. If you don't want to, be a rule-breaking badass like me, then get the ones without the underwear and put your own underwear on, or don't. Freeball it. I don't give a fuck. They're comfortable. They look great. Nobody's going to know you're wearing bird dogs. They're that great. Use the code RBP.
Whether you like it or not,
toy with your order.
You do get the whistling football. Whether you like it or not, summer is here. You're going to be sweaty. You need new shorts. These are the best. They dry fast. They're comfortable as shit.
Swim in them, run in them, make love in them.
Everybody loves them who has bought them with our code, and you'll be the next one.
When I take Jared out back and spank his tight little ass and he's wearing bird dogs, it's an even better experience. Code RBP for a free whistling football at birddogs.com. Jared, we are smack dab now in the middle of June, as I mentioned. We live in Texas. You're from Florida. These are hot ass months for our pasty white asses. And this past 40 months or so have been, a real beating. We all need a pick-me-up. We all need a path forward. We all need healing and grace and love, and for someone to take us out back and spank our tight little asses. And that's why we're officially declaring this summer the summer of Billy and the Bone Man. Billy and the Bone Man! You've heard of the summer of George if you love Seinfeld, if you watch Seinfeld. Basically, the concept is similar. This is a similarly structured concept, but shared across society, not just harnessed for one man's benefit like Costanza did. Jared and I are sharing our summer with all of you. This isn't even about us. It's just named after us, much like this podcast is named after me, but is actually about you. Yes, you listening right now. We are pulling out of this shit, finally. And there are many signs that we're pulling out of it, and the roaring 20s have begun. When I drive around Austin, from south to north, north to south, mostly. I don't really go east to west much, if it matters. I see a lot more humans doing human things. Walking out and about, and not just like doing the depressing walk through your neighborhood to stay alive and keep from losing your mind. Like really walking with intention, looking happy to go somewhere, to a restaurant or a bar. All these vaxxed up people just back to life.
Or a titter.
It's slowly lighting back up. Yeah, again, I drive past the Yellow Rose a lot. It is fucking popping in there. They're having a blast.
There's a lot of things popping in there.
The summer of Billy and the Bone Man started in the Yellow Rose like 6 weeks ago, and we didn't even fucking know it. But seriously, it's one of the, like driving around. I'm just like, man, you can feel the energy again. Like people are out, people are feeling it. Like there's some momentum finally, like real momentum. Not just like, oh, okay, the vaccine's out. Like enough people now have it. Enough people are now moving forward with their lives, putting their shit back together, and starting to get back to enjoying, cities. This whole society we built the way we were before this shit hit the fan. Artists, musicians are dropping albums left and right. Lil Baby and Lil Durk did a double album. And at first I was like, why the fuck, if you're Lil Baby? I mean, I get that Lil Durk is also very popular, but Lil Baby to me is one of the more talented rappers currently doing it. Would you do a double album? Like, I get why Future does it with Drake, I don't really get why Drake does it with Future. I sort of do. This doesn't make sense to me, but then I thought about it and I'm like, well, no, these guys drop this double album, then they go out on tour together, and you're selling out every single show you do. And this is about getting the bag right now. All these guys, everybody in art and music and performing in Hollywood, and like these people missed out on a year and a half of fucking income. They are fucking ready to roll. Like the Bo Burnham special dropping was even a thing where I was like, oh, the wave is about to come. Like, because this dude made that during the whole course of the COVID shit and then dropped. Other people are going to start to be pulling out and making shit that was inspired by that mess. Messes inspire awesomeness a lot of the time, especially in comedy. And I mean, we've already started to see the music start to roll out, dude. It's left and right every other day now. There was a 6-month stretch where I was like, if somebody doesn't drop an album, this was in 2020, I was like, I'm going to lose my fucking mind and start making music myself. I even did. I recorded a fucking freestyle over episode 300 at the beginning because I was going insane. And now the dream that I had, because I thought initially, like when COVID hit, I was like, at least we'll get a ton of music because they'll all be stuck in their houses recording the whole time. That didn't fucking happen because they were all like trying not to blow wads, blow their load preemptively, if you will, blew themselves before it was time. They didn't want to like blow out a classic album and not be able to tour, right? Yep. So a lot of artists were actually not doing what I thought they would do. And in the case of Hollywood, for example, they couldn't film, they couldn't do, all COVID restrictions caused everything to completely fucking shut down. Now it's happening though. Now we're getting this huge resurgence of like all the movies are going to start dropping. The theaters are opening. AMC stock is over $50 and I don't understand how I didn't hold long enough to be a part of this. I blame the medicine. I blame the SSRI that I'm getting off of currently still. Because there's no way logical, rational Ross would pull out when he was already as deep as he was. I was so deep. You don't pull out at that point. You just buy the plan B the next day. And so every comedian and musician living is currently announcing a tour. Every fucking single one of them. Anybody you've wanted to see perform your whole life, now is the goddamn time. But also you need to start checking now because shit is, everything I've seen drop sells out. And I'm talking from a simple local show, like a museum opening or like a museum showing. Mm-hmm. We were trying to go to something, I can't even remember what it was. Everything you try to do right now is heavy booked though, because people are out and about. If you're trying to travel, if you're trying to take a vacation, everybody's booked on vacation. Everybody's on vacation. Everyone you know is in Mexico all of the time, except for you. But seriously, music festivals, bars, and all of the parties, I keep referencing the NBA playoffs. It was the point, one of the other points, the turning points I noticed. All these people out and about in the full stadiums is another level of raucous that I had never felt before. Like motherfuckers have rage inside their hearts that they need to let out. And if you don't think that's indicative of like what restaurants and bars and live music venues are going to be like, you're a doofus. It's going to be popping. Energy on another level you've never seen. It really might be amazing, but also like more mosh pits and violence than normal probably too. Because
people are pelting athletes with water bottles.
Throwing did you know we had a soccer match against Mexico over the weekend, I believe it was, and we won, and they didn't like that, and they threw chairs all over the field and shit. Like, I think chairs.
We won
at football. Anyway, arguing over masks had become like so boring and unstimulating that most people have just stopped and moved back to arguing about sports or like the weather. It's raining again, Velma. Shut your dumb mouth, Ted. It's snowing, not raining. That's what people are doing now.
Velma and Ted?
Yeah, those are my new hillbilly people. So to start the summer of Billy and the Bone Man, yesterday for my birthday, I went to this resort. It was called the Marival or something like that in Austin. By the way, Chris Bosch was there. This dude is everywhere I go, and I don't know why. I've told the story about the time I walked and actually to buy the house that Bolen Media now houses. When I walked in to buy it and signed my final papers, like I was sitting down waiting, and Chris Bosch walked out. And I awkwardly stood up and just put my hand up in the air. Because I was so like, oh, I don't even know it's just the reaction I had. So that was the first time I ran into him.
Did he see you?
I was 6 feet away from him and I stood up and put my hand in the air. Yeah, he looked at me like I was an idiot and weird. And then a couple weeks back, he had a new book come out on June 1st. And he was DMing every person with a blue check mark that follows him to promote it. Or his PR person was, not him. And I was like, to say, do you want a copy? Which I have to assume is still in the mail or got lost in the mail, Chris, if you're listening. And I was like, yeah, we want a copy. But also I want to interview dude. We live in the same city. Like, I want to interview you. So point being, they were like, yeah, you could set up an interview, email this email. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to get to it. But after that, then I go to this resort and I'm standing at the checkout desk at the front. And the dude is standing literally next to me. All right, and he's, fucking 7 feet tall. And I was such in a state of like just a place mentally where I was like, I'm so stoked to unplug. I'm so stoked to like get a day off. I haven't had this in years. I was so excited. I didn't even look up like to see who it was or like, I really didn't think twice. I was like, I'm at some weird spa place. Like, I don't know, tall people work here and shit. Like I don't know. I didn't think twice about it. And I went and like sat down waiting for some other shit. And then he walked off. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm such a jackass. That was Chris Bosch. And also, oh my God, why do I keep fucking hearing and seeing Chris Bosch? Like, this dude retired several years ago, but he has a really cool story if you don't know it, which I hope I get him to tell it on the show at some point, but and ask him questions about, but we'll see. Anyway, Chris Bosch was there. Good start. Chris Bosch being there indicates to me that this is probably a solid place to relax. Okay? Maybe he's celebrating the book drop. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So we go hiking first. It was early, so it's not too hot. Not sweating profusely. Not near passing out the whole time or anything like that. Although I did drink like 6 bottles of water. Got to go to the pool after that, and it was one of those saltwater pools. So it wasn't like 95 degrees outside, which is perfect time to go to the pool. It's probably 85 degrees. The pool was still the perfect temperature for like, I thought it was going to be too cold. I was a little concerned with the pool might be too cold. It was not. Pool was amazing. Then the day got really, really hot, and the pool was definitely not going to be too cold. And I did the thing where you go from the pool to the hot tub and then back to the pool to make the pool more cold. Mm-hmm. Also, I might have sat in the hot tub too long. I was like pink when I got out and needed a lot more water. But did the pool, did the hot tub, did the hiking, saw Chris Bosch, did archery. I hadn't shot archery since I was like 12 years old at camp. And it was fucking awesome. Archery is tight. And I got turned off by archery because all these dipshit Austin clowns install archery courses in their backyard and then talk about mindfulness. And that made me not like archery because I don't know. There's just too many of those people that are full of shit and like trying to, I don't know. It's just a weird version of these people that we knew too many of and we met too many of. And I was like, I'm not in for archery or hatchet throwing. That has already been done by a group of people that I do not want to be associated with on an extreme level in Austin that is no longer possible for me to be a part of. This shit's amazing. I felt like fucking Legolas in Lord of the Rings. I was like on cloud 9 and I was lighting up the archery target like none of these other motherfuckers had anything on me. It's a lot of similar, the mechanics are similar to pitching, by the way, and I was a pitcher in high school, so it's not like, it just took me a few minutes to kind of get it down. But one of the talented people in my group. There's like 7 or 8 of us in this group. And there was a dad with his daughter. They were from Chicago. It's a Chicago family. I didn't know people from Chicago went and vacationed in Austin Hill Country, but whatever. That's tight. And they were interesting. I'll just put it that way. Daughter had just graduated from high school, getting ready to go to college. They came down to celebrate him and his daughter, whatever. He may have been a little lit up. I'll put it that way. I think Daddy had a couple drinks, and she was a natural at the archery. I mean, she was fucking crushing it, and he could not have been more stoked, but also drunk and weird. So he was like making her compete against other people. And at first I was just playing around, kind of relaxed, enjoying myself. Like, oh yeah, archery, we'll do archery, sure. Fucking knock the bow, pull it back to a point on my face, You don't, Jared, you don't put it in the grooves of your finger, you put it on the pads of your finger. and then to release, you just and you aim down sight, and you take one breath in. You know how you release before you shoot? You want to be breathed out before you shoot a gun. With archery, you actually want to inhale more because it gets you perked up all the way before you let go. So at first I was just kind of playing around, feeling it out, and then this dude starts talking that shit to me. He's like, I'll make up a name for his daughter. Let's say her name was Jamie. He's like, get him, Jamie. Get him, Jamie. And I was just like, this old man cannot mean me. And I turn around, he absolutely does. So now I'm starting to focus a little bit more. I'm like, all right, Jamie, fucking bitch ass. You want to see what it's all about? She's like an 18-year-old girl. I'm a 34-year-old man on my birthday shooting archery in Yeezy slides. That made me go put on closed-toed shoes, actually. But it's neither here nor there. So I start to focus, and now I'm hitting bullseyes because I'm straight Robin Hood with this shit. And I could tell the girl's getting a little like, she's been shown up. Dad was hype on how talented she was. This Chinese couple in our little course suggested that she should try being on the archery team at the college she was about to attend. And I was like, all right, I'm going to shut that dream down right now. Because somebody has to. Because Jamie can't go try out for archery. She's not good enough. I don't want her to have to go through that experience. So I put it in the bullseye over and over and over and over and over again. And Jamie and her dad went back to Chicago.
Are you that good at archery?
I really don't know how I am, but I am pretty good at archery. For a dude who's done it now twice, once as a 12-year-old and once as a 34-year-old with a bum right shoulder, yeah, I'm fucking good at this shit. In fact, so much so, I'm putting the shotgun away, and I'm buying one of these bows, and if you home invade my shit, I'm archering you in the face, dude, because that's a dope way to take out a home invader.
I have a question, Ross. Actually, it's more of a statement. We need a listener to make...
Boom! Headshot! Sorry, go.
A piece of art. We need a listener to make a piece of art that is Lego Ross, which is the Legolas version of Ross, on his way to Pestle and Mordor.
Wow.
Lego Ross and Pestle and Mordor. Two episode-specific niche jokes on this podcast that somebody please dedicate a day to make artwork. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, last thing I got was a blood orange pedicure, which I'm not sure what that is. I pretty much fell asleep. But at one point I woke up and she was like grinding all the dead fucking skin off my feet. And I was just like, God, it's good to be alive right now. And my feet feel amazing, but it's like a little sore today. A little sore today. This is my second pedicure ever, all right? My second one ever. We're doing self-care in 2021. We're treating ourselves. And it was amazing. It's Jared, you got to do it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I texted Jared after I got done. I was like, next time you're like hitting a stress point, I'm sending your ass out here because it was not that expensive compared to what you would think. And it was so relaxing. And the summer of Billy and the Bone Man is off to a hot start. And I appreciate everybody, by the way, who hit me with birthday wishes on social and stuff. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are cool. Thank you very much. I spoke to self-care and the pedicure and getting to have this experience at the spa day yesterday for my birthday or whatever. That's obviously not something I'm going to need to do super often, but we all need things that we can do often. And man, one of them for me, like hiking and spending more time in nature like I got to do yesterday, was just a reminder that I live 5 minutes from a hike that is just as enjoyable as this one I went to yesterday that was on a damn resort. And it's public, and I park my car, and I get out, and I go into the Greenbelt, and it's right there, bro. It's right there.
Yeah, I go do that after work sometimes.
I never go. Never. It's like one of the things that I used to do more. I don't go ever. There's no reason I shouldn't go once a week.
The Greenbelt's awesome. I go to my...
It's serene.
If you're listening to this...
There's no other word for it.
Actually, I lied. But I went there and took an awesome video. Right now, it rains so much in Austin lately that the creeks they're usually dry. They're usually bone dry. It's just a rock bed. They are flowing right now.
And I'm never like, I've been both. I've been when it was completely dry and you could walk the creek bed and it's awesome. And I've been when it's a fucking river flowing and you're like, what the shit? I don't know which one I prefer. It's awesome both ways because swimming in that is amazing and it's also probably terrible for your skin, but I don't care.
I prefer the with water because it has no water like 90% of the year.
That's true. Most of the time we are dealing with the dry creek bed version of it, but it's awesome. And the point is it's like it's so centering to go and get out in nature, and it's just something that's like there's not really an excuse for it. There's just not really an excuse for me to not go enjoy this more. It's something that fills me with joy and recharges me, gives me more energy. And I went, it's like swimming in the pool at the resort. I hadn't been swimming, and I genuinely don't remember. And it's one of my favorite things to do. Well, it's not like just because I don't have a pool or live by the ocean that I can't go swim. So why would I not do it? Another example, float tanks, deprivation tanks.
I've never done one.
You know how many times they've been recommended to me? People are like, it's amazing. You'll leave feeling so relaxed. You'll feel stupid for not having done it for your whole life. I still haven't gone. There's one on the fucking mile and a half down the street. I already said Manchac this episode. Manchac. It's a huge long street. You have no idea where we are. Down Manchac, there's one called like zero gravity float tanks or some shit. Like, why the fuck have I not gone and done that?
Could that cause you to freak out though, like claustrophobia style? Not you personally, like a person. Like, what if it is it? How relaxing is it?
The question is, could someone freak out in a float tank?
Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't sound to me like something
Someone could freak out in any situation.
For example.
I assure you, as someone who is freaked out in most situations at this point.
People who told you to get a massage, oh, you'll love it. Like, that makes sense. It's undeniably relaxing. I feel like a float tank, because
I was
hit or
way
miss.
more concerned with the massage than the float tank. Float tank, I love floating. That sounds awesome. I totally get how it's going to be relaxing as shit. It's probably going to be one of the best things I've ever done for myself. Massage, on the other hand, I do not like people fucking touching me that I don't know, and I'm ticklish as hell, so it's terrifying. Pedicure, on the other hand, same problem. And it's still a little bit like I'm always worried I'm going to kick the woman in the face. So as she's doing the bottom of my feet yesterday, I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck, just please don't tickle me, please don't. Like, I'm trying not to laugh, like, please don't kick her in the face. Anything but kicking her in the face. And it's really hard to get through it. But float tank, I'm with. But yeah, just an odd line of, maybe it's not for you, Jared.
I'm down to try it out.
Don't sully my float tank experience with your negativity.
I need to have a big red abort button for if I start freaking out.
And then there's the fitness. Well, I'm pretty sure you can get out, Jared. It's like a tanning bed.
I thought it was deprivation.
It's not like
You're deprived of your freedom,
all right,
too.
we'll get you in an hour. You can't get out. Hope nothing happens to me while I'm working here, or else you're fucking dead, right? All right, see ya. Yeah, dumbass system. I remember in a horror movie where they shut the chick in the tanning bed and turn it up all the way, though. I want to say it was I Know What You Did Last Summer Part 2. Did you see the joke, I know what you did last summer for now? It's that you didn't do shit because nobody did because it was COVID. It's funny, huh?
Let's go on.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Also, fitness, working out, not eating Taco Bell with Jared, you know? Stuff like that. Like, obvious moves can be made to help us all. Yoga, running, hiking, Summer of Billy and the Bone Man. Jared, what are the things you're going to add for Summer of Jared?
Okay. The Bone Man.
I'm
trying to read more.
Reading, that's a great one. I've sort of started that. This is another example of one that's similar to the Green Belt. I got it in a little, you know, but then it didn't happen. Like I just couldn't keep it up, you know? So I'm fortunate, but it's a great one. And it's great for like, it's great for, it's somehow centering and it takes your mind out of all the issues. Like you're centered, you're present, but you're in a place where the story takes you that isn't so problematic.
Here's where I want to do it. On the balcony, in bed, no, on the toilet. Anyways, here's what I'm actually...
The one with no seat.
Yeah. So for reading for me, I recently did it because I was like, I'm trying to cut my screen time down. Big reason why my screen time is so high is because I'm on these dumb apps looking at all this stupid content that I don't even remember, or I'm reading like a long form article.
I still don't know how they named it TikTok when literally that makes it's like a time joke, like your time ticking away as you just scroll.
Yeah. So what I've realized is when I read, I can go on the balcony and be like, man, I've been out here a while. How long has it been? It's been like 25 minutes. And I'm like, wow, this is like the best way to get the most out of my day is spending an hour reading because it feels like 3 hours worth.
Well, sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you'll be reading and you'll be like, okay, I finished that chapter. What time is it? Holy shit, it's been an hour and a half. I've read 6 chapters and I got way deep into this book and the day is gone. I more often experience what you just described, which is reading is it's tough to focus, especially if you're like the apartment pool with people going all over the place, fucking, you know, people watching. It's distracting. So I will often like be like, all right, I just want to finish this chapter and see, and like it'll feel like forever. And I'm like, oh my God, that was 20 minutes. Jesus. It's crazy.
So reading, I'm going to go outside. Definitely go to the Greenbelt more. Exercise.
Oh, you've got the Pelly going now.
I have. I've done 2 Peloton rides. They've been extremely enjoyable. Very fun.
We've got one in the old the Bolen Media HQ gym. We have a gym.
And I like, because it's summer, it gets hot as shit. Like, you're actually sweating it out. Like, you're really sweating on that thing.
Yeah. I ran to Randall's earlier. That was a mistake. That was stupid. It's just so fucking hot.
You passed the You Are Not Alone mural that I took a picture of and I forgot to send to you because I was driving.
Yeah, so I've seen that for like a month now. But right next to the crib, somebody painted a giant mural that just says "You Are Not Alone" in huge words facing this like pretty major area of, traffic. It's just kind of shocking that it's as close. Like, that's a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah.
I put it on my Instagram today at WR Bolen. Yesterday, actually, it was. Ha ha! But yeah, it's the summer of Billy and the Bone Man. Very stoked to share the vibes all summer long because this has been much needed.
Yep.
And it's time to turn a new leaf and get more positivity in all of our fucking lives. We've had pieces of this. We started talking self-care. We started talking more mental health. We started talking about fitness and CrossFit. Now it's time to bring it all together in the fucking summer of Billy and the Bone Man and come together as one and prosper. This episode of RBP is also brought to you by Cuts Clothing. Speaking of prospering in the summer of Billy and the Bone Man, if you're having trouble dressing yourself like many of you are, the sport of business means demanding excellence from your craft and your wardrobe. Your fits need to be versatile, blending timeless style and comfort so that you look as good as you feel. And for that, there's Cuts Clothing. And if you know anything about me, you know that I dress pretty casually. But Cuts are really, really good-looking T-shirts. I have a ton of T-shirts. I wear mostly Cuts when they're all clean and not in my laundry. And they're amazing. They're just the best-fitting shirt I've ever owned, the best-looking shirt I've ever owned in terms of being versatile and being able to wear them with either joggers or with a pair of shorts or a bathing suit or whatever. Wear them to the pool or put them on with put on a Cuts T-shirt with a pair of slacks and go to the bar. Like, you could pull that look off with Cuts. That's how versatile it is. They took a classic men's fashion staple, the plain tee, and they refined it, combining premium quality with a minimalistic aesthetic. Their shirts and their polos and their hoodies and their crew sweatshirts are all amazing, and they're made for the man who works hard, plays hard, and never settles for less, all in the sport of business, built for performance in the boardroom, the bar, the gym. Cuts Clothing keeps you sharp wherever the game takes you. I could not more highly recommend any fucking T-shirt in the world. They're awesome. They're like, it's an athletic cut for sure. They're a great, well-cut, athletic cut shirt, check out cutsclothing.com/RBP, and you can see all the different shirts and the way that they're cut and find what's good for you. And it's the perfect T-shirt accomplished, though. These are the best. I have not found a better T-shirt in the world. Get 15% off your first order by going to cutsclothing.com/RBP. That's cutsclothing.com/RBP. cutsclothing.com/RBP for 15% off. The only shirt worth wearing during Chicken Leg Pride Month. Which it is, Chicken Leg Pride Month. I forgot to mention that. But every June, the month of our Lord, and the month I was born, also Kanye. Happy birthday, Kanye, yesterday, June 8th. Congratulations.
Congrats.
It's Chicken Leg Pride Month. And, as every summer comes around, it's the time of the year where people on Twitter and Instagram and social media and at local watering holes and pools and parties and wherever I go say, "Holy shit, your legs are really skinny." And I go, "Yeah, I've had pants on for the last several months because it was winter." And they're like, "Oh, yeah." And this happens every year, my whole life, with people I've known my whole life. My own parents will be like, "Oh, wow." And I'm like, they're the same legs. Even when I did leg day for 8 months. 8 months I did leg day. Every day was leg day. And they grew slightly, still didn't matter. Every time I put up a picture, anything with my legs in them, people, "Oh my God, dude, you have crazy chicken leg." I literally have been doing Chicken Leg Pride Month for 3 years now. And still, people will be like, "Yo, you have crazy ass, skinny ass chicken legs." And I'm just amazed by that. So Chicken Leg Pride Month exists for that reason. To spread chicken leg awareness and give chicken-legged individuals like me the ability to stand up and say, "Yes, I do have very skinny legs. They're going to be out as it is hot as shit outside and pants are no longer appropriate all the time. Deal with it and hear me roar." And that's what Chicken Leg Pride Month is all about. It's also LGBTQ plus month. Just FYI. It's probably and any other month that it is. I don't know. I don't want to disclude anybody. I'm just saying it's also Chicken Leg Pride Month.
You say disclude?
Disclude. I don't want to disclude anybody.
Is that a word?
Disinclude?
Exclude? I think it's exclude.
We had a listener named Jason Schwartz ask us a question that I found profound. How many toothpicks does one tree make?
Probably, oh God, probably my guess.
I mean, the first question becomes like, well, what kind of tree? Is it a fucking redwood? Okay, your average tree in a yard.
I want to say 185,000.
I'm gonna say, man, 360. I'm gonna double yours. 360,000. And I don't know what the answer is, but it's a hell of a thing to think of. That's got to be a shit ton of toothpicks. But also in the grand scheme of life, not very many toothpicks for a tree. Maybe
it could be like 8 million for all we know.
Aren't toothpicks not even good for you?
I think dentists say toothpicks aren't bad as long as you just use them to get the food out and don't like destroy your gums with them.
You think dentists say that?
Well, remember, did you watch Hard Knocks last season?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well, there's the Rams-Chargers. There was a player, I think he was on the Rams or the Chargers. It was kind of annoying. They did two teams. It was kind of hard to follow.
Wait, they did two teams?
At once. The LA Rams and LA Chargers.
Stupid.
It was incredibly hard to remember who's on what team.
Yeah.
So one of the players on defense plays with a toothpick in his mouth. He plays in the NFL with a toothpick in his mouth. I'm like, dude, that's going to go through your tongue at some point during your career. That toothpick is going to impale your tongue mid-game.
You're telling me there's an NFL player running around on the field with a toothpick between his teeth?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's on a casual stroll.
He might have been relegated to the practice squad after the series, but yeah.
Was it because he poked his own fucking eye out?
Seems
what a
concerning.
dumbass. That's one of the stupider things I've ever heard. That's like a guy showing up on Hard Knocks and being like, yeah, you know, it's crazy, but I actually play with a pair of scissors open in my jockstrap at all times. Why would you do that? Why would you run around with a toothpick in your mouth playing a contact sport?
Like, when you get tackled, how's it not go in your mouth?
Even a toothpick playing baseball is a little weird. Because, like, you know, you're diving for a catch or something awkward happens. I don't know. It's sticking out and the pitcher pegs you right in the toothpick. Next thing you know, it shoots down your throat, straight out your dick hole.
I'm scared of toothpicks. Like, even if I'm just, like, sitting at dinner, like, I'm scared the waiter's going to whack me in the back of the head with a tray and it's going to go back in my throat and cut my uvula in half.
Do you think it's possible that I shoot a toothpick down your throat so fast that it does shoot out your dick hole?
Well, you shot a toothpick down my throat last night.
What's wrong with you?
That's a joke about small.
Oral sex
Small,
and my dick being a toothpick.
No, but I don't think it's possible to shoot a toothpick because I don't think those are connected tracks.
Yeah. Happy upcoming 26th birthday, Aaron, from your fiance, Isabella.
Wait, you added that right onto the back of that one? I hope Aaron was laughing at what just happened still and was able to hear that birthday shout out.
Happy
while
birthday.
Laughing. Ross, I want to say something here.
Say it, fine.
At the end of the show.
Fine.
When we hit 3,000 subscribers on the Ross Bolen Podcast YouTube, we're in like 2,600 right now, so only need like 400, which would be not that many of you to go
400
and
people.
Subscribe.
YouTube.com. Enter the code RBP. No, you search Ross Bolen Podcast. It'll pop up.
When we get 3,000 subscribers, we are going to do a video Ross-hosted Bolen Media HQ tour of our entire office, which we do not show off near well enough and is sick.
Yeah, I spent a good amount of time during the last year and a half, like slowly but surely making the office not shitty. And it's pretty much done. And we need to do a video to show it to everybody because, like, y'all see bits and pieces of it on my Instagram. That's a few thousand people that watch my Instagram stories or whatever. That's not very many people comparatively that are gonna. I want y'all to see it.
Yes,
it's very cool. I think it'll give you a better idea of where Jared and I spend our time every day, and where we get our creative energy from. You know, in this creative space that we've created here at Bolen Media to really help creatives thrive.
Well, get this, Ross. Here's what I'm gonna do. In order to entice people to go to the YouTube, this is not scripted. Ross has no idea I'm doing this. I am taking the camera off the tripod right now and showing you Ross's dogs who are in the studio with us.
He's really doing it with the camera right now. You don't even have to take it off the tripod. Just fucking spin that bitch down.
Oh, you're right.
Be a pro with it. Oh, my God. Look at that. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Bella. But yeah, we bought these badass cameras that cost a shit ton of money and got all these amazing computers and a sound-treated room and good decorations and a Space Jam poster that I bought back in college that's in the living room that's got RGB lights around it now. I know you millennials, you Gen Z scum love that shit. Just fucking wrap yourself in RGB lights. Weirdos. Anyway, we'll be back on Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast with another ad-free edition of this show. Patreon, if you find our regular Monday, Wednesday episodes to be unhinged, is an even more dangerously unhinged place where the camera might even come off of the tripod entirely and get stuck down my pants so you can see my toothpick. And nah, not really. But patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast does have ad-free Friday episodes. They are really, really fun and more unhinged than the regular show that comes out Monday, Wednesday. We do 2 mental health minisodes a month for everybody in our Enforcer and OG tiers on Patreon. We've got columns that come out. Even if you join the RBP gang, our regular basic Patreon tier, that's $5 minimum pledge a month to be a part of, and you'll get the ad-free Friday episodes. You'll get the Bolen Media monthly update that I write. You'll get that column as well. Everybody in the Enforcer tier and in the OG tier gets every column that we write and that we put out each month. But even if you're in the regular basic RBP gang tier, you'll get the Bolen Media update column, which was really cool for May if you want to go read it. The second you sign up on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today, it is available to you to go read entirely, as is every Friday episode that we have put out for the past however the fuck many weeks. You can go watch or listen right now. So go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today. Support the show. As I have said in the past several weeks, it is very important that we get this number up as high as possible. Somewhere around 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 would be very nice. Hopefully by the end of the year, because it is our baseline that we are building this company off of. And if you like what we're doing here, and you like RBP, and you like OCC, and you like Jared and I on Twitch, and the Summer of Billy and the Bone Man, then we need you on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast so that we can do this thing.
No more free rides.
This is our full-time job all of the time. It's not like a joke that I do for funsies. Like, this is how I make my living. This is my livelihood. Same with Jared. Just in case there was any confusion there, this is not like a fucking podcast we spun up during the pandemic because we didn't have anything else to do. We've been doing this long before the pandemic, and we will be doing it long after it is gone, unlike the celebrity dipshits that you give your time to now instead of me. But those people, they won't be there. What is the fucking line from There Will Be Blood? He's like, and when the show comes,
I drink your milkshake.
They won't be there. And then I drink your milkshake. Yeah. Yep. What I'm saying is all those other podcasts that you were listening to in 2020 instead of this one, because we were talking about politics and mental health, it's way too high of a clip. I'm going to beat them to death with a bowling pin at the end of the show. Thank you for being here. Go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today. Support the podcast. Get more of the podcast, plus columns, plus mental health minisodes, and more. That's the only place you're going to be able to get the merch that's coming out soon. I've got 200 hats on order. The Astroworld RBP hats, if you wanted one.
They're back? They're coming back?
They're coming back.
Oh my
There's only
God.
one place you're able to get them, patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. I also got another hat designed that I'm super excited to show y'all that I would argue is equally as cool, if not cooler than the Astroworld hat. Very excited to get it. But basically, like with the merch stuff, I'm not going to make it unless I would wear it and think it's cool. So especially with the hats, like these are very, 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 very highly coveted hats. I've had people tell me they would pay upwards of thousands of dollars for one of these hats because they cannot be bought anywhere right now, the Astroworld hats. And they will be available on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast for far less than thousands of dollars, Jared.
Yes, and if you want to make sure that you get them because we have a limited supply, you should get on Patreon right now.
Yeah, because what if I say, oh, in 3 days, what if I'm like, oh, they're here, and then they're on Patreon, and then they're gone again, and you're like, damn it. It's been 2 years since we dropped hats, Jared.
Yep.
People are fucking thirsty for headwear.
If you're like, I really want an RP hat, get on Patreon right now, and also you can enjoy all the content on there while you're waiting for your hat, and then long after.
You could argue that the hat will pay for itself eventually because of the content that inevitably comes through the platform that allowed you access to the hat.
I like that a lot.
It's an investment in yourself. Now, here and now, go brother or sister, to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today. And we will be back on Friday, ad-free, exclusively on that very website that I've repeated so many times that I cannot do it even one more without saying goodbye and howdy-ho!
Alrighty then.